Of course, I will always love him, but there's a lot of hurt that's happened.
There is a real rift, there is real distance, there's real anger.
Is Meghan to blame for Harry and Charles's failed relationship?
I don't want to be doing this. Look what it did to my mum. How am I ever gonna, settle down and have a wife and a family when I know that it's gonna happen again?
Did Harry's birth ruin Charles and Diana's marriage?
When Harry was born, Prince Charles was quite dismissive of both her and the baby. And as she said to me, something inside me died.
Doing something like that to a wife with a newborn baby was atrocious.
Is Harry protecting his wife or betraying his own family?
Frankly, for Prince Harry to betray his own family in public like this, I think it's despicable. I don't see any way back whatsoever.
Was Charles and Harry's relationship doomed from the start?
There's a lot of genetic pain and suffering that gets passed on anyway. As parents, we should be doing the most that we can to try and say, you know what, that happened to me, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Did Charles's own upbringing make him a bad father?
Charles didn't receive any parenting. His parents were away when he was very young. He was left with nannies. And although Charles tried to be a more modern parent, he didn't have the tools because he didn't grow up with them.
Harry bluntly criticised the way his father was raised.
There's no blame.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be pointing the finger or blaming anybody.
He also claimed that how the Queen raised Charles had a negative impact on how Charles raised his own kids.
Okay, so this is where he went to school. This is what happened. I know this bit about his life. I also know that's connected to his parents.
Yeah.
So that means that he's treating me the way that he was treated.
Harry boldly compared his own childhood to being raised in a zoo, and he is desperate not to make the same mistakes.
But certainly when it comes to parenting, if I've experienced some form of pain or suffering because of the pain or suffering that perhaps my father or my parents had suffered, I'm going to make sure that I break that cycle so that I don't pass it on, basically.
But is Harry's childhood really the reason for the rift?
I think the biggest issue for me was that being born into it, you inherit the risk. You inherit the risk that comes with it. You inherit every element of it without choice.
Or is his resentment towards royal life the real reason?
In my early 20s, I was a case of, I don't want this job.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this. Look what it did to my mum. How am I ever going to, settle down and have a wife and a family when I know that it's going to happen again?
Experts say Harry and Charles's war started the day he was born.
When Harry was born, Prince Charles was quite dismissive of both her and the baby. And as she said to me, something inside me died and the shutters came down. So you can almost date the end of the marriage to that period.
Diana had desperately hoped for one thing, that Harry's birth would save her failing marriage. But apparently Charles pushed both her and Harry away.
Doing something like that to a wife with a newborn baby was atrocious. If he thought he could treat his wife like that, he was in deep trouble.
In recent interviews, Harry has blasted his father. He was particularly harsh in his Oprah interview.
The person that was really sort of knocked to the ground in that interview with several punches was Prince Charles. There is a real rift, there is real distance, there's real anger.
Harry made some astonishing claims about his father.
My family literally cut me off financially, and I had to afford security for us. When we were in Canada, I had 3 conversations with my grandmother and 2 conversations with my father before he stopped taking my calls.
Royal experts say it was the lack of financial support that finally drove Charles and Harry even further apart.
We're told the reason that Charles stopped taking his calls because Harry kept asking for more money.
And that's where the problem arises. Harry slightly feels that not giving him the money he wants is not giving him the love he wants.
But now, critics are slamming Prince Harry.
He came out of that interview looking like an ungrateful man-child, crying about daddy cutting the purse strings. God forbid a 36-year-old man should support himself on the meagre $25 million his mother left him or the $20 million his great-grandmother left him.
Was it fair for Harry to attack his dad on public television, especially when he knows Charles cannot defend himself?
There's no doubt the gulf between Charles and Harry has widened considerably. It will be very difficult to bridge that divide in future. I can't see how they can do it.
Many royal critics believe Meghan is responsible. Harry admits that she helped him seek therapy.
It was a conversation that I had with my now wife. She saw it straight away. She could tell that I was hurting and that some of the stuff that was out of my control was making me really angry, and it would make my blood boil.
Harry has always said he stepped away from his own family so that he can protect his wife and his children. Harry wants nothing more than to make peace with his father.
Of course, I will always love him, but there's a lot of hurt that's happened, and I will continue to make it one of my priorities to try and heal that relationship.
But is it already too late?
The damage is done, and that makes me sad, because the relationship that I knew, which was a loving, caring, fun relationship, can never be like that again.
Harry and Meghan have painted themselves as victims. But who is the real victim in this very public royal war?
You really just have to feel sorry for the Queen here. She deserves better than to have the institution she has devoted her life to trashed by an indulged couple who want all the fame and riches of royalty, but none of the work or scrutiny.
Do you think Charles can ever forgive Harry?